frog in my throat, so I'm gonna do my best here. Hello, I'm Valerie. Welcome back to the Book Nook. Today I'm going to be chatting with you about some under-the-radar mysteries and thrillers. I am focusing here on indie published books, and what I mean by that is either the book was published by a small press or self-published by the author. I'm taking a look at books that you may not have heard of yet, books that aren't published by the bigger houses like HarperCollins or Penguin Random House or Amazon's publishing imprints. Books that you may not have heard of before, but may just be exactly what you're looking for. Full disclosure, I have not read any of these books yet, so I cannot tell you if they are going to be good or not. All I know is that some of these premises sound super exciting and super enticing to me, and so I hope they will be enticing to you. Some of these books have already been published, but a few of them are coming out in the next few weeks. But they are all what I would consider new releases, so published either within the past 3 months or, again, coming out in the next few weeks. So you won't have to wait very long to get your hands on some of these under-the-radar mysteries and thrillers. The first book came out in January from Poisoned Pen Press. It is The Department of Rare Books and Special Collections by Eva Jurczyk. A rare book librarian's quiet life is turned upside down when a priceless manuscript goes missing. She tries to sound the alarm, but no one's paying any attention to her. Then one of her colleagues stops showing up to work, and our intrepid librarian decides to investigate further what the heck is going on. There's a missing manuscript, a missing colleague, a rare books librarian who is going to find out what is happening between these dusty shelves. I love a good book, about people who love books, and so this one sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Next up is All the Pretty People by Barbara Freethy. This one I believe is self-published, indie published by the author, and I think it just came out maybe a few days ago. So this one is definitely a brand new release. It revolves around an island where our main character has some bad memories from her youth where one of her friends went missing on this island, and now she has to go back to this island because I think someone's getting married and there's a storm coming and all these secrets are going to be churned and washed up onto shore. She's going to have to face these secrets and her deep dark past. I'm hoping this is going to be kind of a locked room feel, isolation on this island, plus a storm, plus toxic friendships and past secrets coming back to haunt our main character. This sounds like it could be a very thrilling beach read if you are looking to put something on your beach reads list for the summer. Next up is another indie published book, another self-published author. The book came out in January. It's Found You by Molly Black. This appears to be the first in a new FBI series, and it features around a headstrong female FBI agent who isn't afraid to speak her mind about what she wants and her ambitions. I think in her past there is something to do with a murderer. Maybe she was almost killed by this murderer, and so she kind of has this tragic haunted past. Now she's been called onto a new case centering around a deadly section of highway that they call the Bermuda Triangle of Death. That sounds terrifying. And I guess it's rife with like serial killers and people who go missing. There's a bunch of unsolved cases sitting around this one section of the road. And so our FBI agent gets assigned to a case out on this section of highway, and maybe it has something to do with her past. She dives headfirst into the hunt for this killer, and who knows if she will be able to find him in time before he kills again. Next up is, I think, a cozier mystery for my cozy mystery fans. This is out from Agora Books in October of 2021, so it's been out for a little while, so this is one you can definitely go and pick up right now and start reading right now. The book is Aria Winters and the Tiramisu of Death by Amanda Murray. This is a cozy mystery with a heroine who lives in a small English village. She bakes, but I think she bakes like kind of macabre type desserts, so not your typical chocolate chip cookie, maybe like chocolate chip cookies with fangs. I don't really know. Again, haven't read it, but I think this looks pretty cute. She has nosy neighbors and social anxiety and a crush on the writer next door. And then a neighbor turns up dead after eating some poisoned tiramisu, and of course all eyes swing to our baker, and she has to stand up for herself and find the real killer before it's too late and she gets thrown in jail, I guess, or whatever judicial system cozy English villages have. So you've got your amateur sleuth, you've got baking and food and a cozy English village, and definitely, I feel like some quirky, fun things are going to be happening in this book. I've got another release from Agora Books to tell you about. This book is coming out in February 22nd. It is The Hitmans Daughter by Carolyn Topjian. This one sounds so clever and so interesting, and I am really excited about this one. I think I'm gonna go find it as soon as I can, as soon as it comes out. Love this cover. This book is set in a rundown hotel, and they're having this kind of send-off for this hotel that used to be grand. Like in its older days, it was this grand, lavish hotel where they had all these grand, lavish parties. Now it is run down. Some weird, creepy things have been happening at this hotel, but they are doing one last New Year's Eve bash. But instead of this romantic weekend, you guessed it, a big snowstorm hits and everybody gets trapped in this hotel, and then things start getting weird. A resident artist of the hotel is found dead, and one of the hotel workers is blamed for it because, you guessed it, she is a hitman's daughter. She has a past. Her father is a violent man, so of course everybody is going to suspect her as the killer. In order to find the real killer, she's going to need to stop running from her past, face it head on. She has to dig into the history of the hotel and its elite guests, and I don't know about you, but I am all in for this book. So the next few books I'm going to be talking about are coming out from Crooked Lane Press. And Crooked Lane Press is a small press that has been doing some really great work with mysteries and thrillers and suspense. One of the books that just came out is, I believe, kind of a cozier mystery. It is called The Devil's Chew Toy. It's by Rob Osler, and this is an LGBTQ plus book involving an unlucky in love and life teacher who ends up as the prime suspect when his crush, and I think the crush is a dancer, goes missing. So this young man goes missing, and our main character, the amateur sleuth, teams up with the missing man's two best friends who are also lesbians, and they go on this, I guess, road trip investigation to try and find out what happened to their friend. It's set in Seattle. They start finding their clues at like a pet store called Barkingham Palace. That sounds pretty cute. I love this cover. I definitely want to find out what happens in this book. The next book is The Dangers of an Ordinary Night by Lynn Reeves. This came out in November, so you can go ahead and grab this one right away. This is about best friends, two younger girls. I believe they're teenagers or, like a younger age. They go missing after auditioning for a play at a prestigious performing arts school in Boston. 2 days later, one of the girls is found and she's disoriented and can't really give any information about what happened to them. She's feeling very traumatized. They find her by the ocean. The other girl is there too. She is pronounced dead at the scene. And so I think this book is about what happens after, the families, the grief that they are experiencing, and also trying to find answers for what happened. One mother bent on protecting her daughter, the other is trying to uncover the truth. There's a detective involved. I think this is kind of one of those domestic suspense where you have this outwardly perfect community and all the cracks start to appear when these two girls go missing. And I think it could be a very interesting dark woven web of secrets and lies. Next up is The Vanishing Edge by Claire Kells, and this book looks like it's going to hit all my sweet spots with it being an outdoor adventure, outdoor mystery. The main character is an ex-FBI agent who now works for the Parks Department in the Investigative Services Bureau, and that bureau is responsible for investigating crimes that happen on national park land. This book is involving campers who go missing, and the ex-FBI agent is investigating that. She teams up with a park ranger and has to figure out how to trust him and how to trust herself in order to find the answers and find these campers before it's too late. I think this is definitely going to be a book where you get a lot of outdoor stuff and where we see our characters pushed to their physical and emotional and mental limits. Here's kind of a fun one. This is The Hidden by Melanie Golding, and this I think has some fantasy elements to it or some magical realism. There's definitely something creepy going on that is more than just your average serial killer stabbing murderer. This book is out. It's been out since November. On a dark December night, a small child is found wandering this coastline in this small seaside town. Eventually, she's returned to her mother, and everything seems to be fine. Everyone's life returns to normal until a man is found bludgeoned nearly to death, and then his secrets begin to unravel. People begin to discover that he seems to have been keeping a second family in his house. No, a secret family, not a second family. I don't think he had one family, and then another. I think he just had a family, and no one really knew about it, and no one knew that he was married or that he had this kid. But then as they're like digging deeper into this man's story, the wife is like, oh no, he was keeping me captive. I'm a Selkie. And I don't know if you know what a Selkie is, but they are seals, these mythical creatures, seals that can strip off their seal bodies and walk around as human on land. And then like if you keep their skin, they're yours forever. So this kind of mythology wrapped up in a mystery is just kind of the thing that I really love. And I think this book sounds really interesting. It sounds like it could be a different sort of read and maybe a good spooky one to dive into later in the year. Get it? Silky, seals, ocean, diving. The final book for you today is Wolf Hollow by Victoria Houston, I'm not really sure, but Wolf Hollow, Victoria Houston? This one is set in the Wisconsin North Woods, which is known for fly fishing and peaceful outdoor escapes. And of course, whenever you have somewhere peaceful, throw in a few dead bodies, bam, you got a really interesting book. So there is some kind of environmental aspect to this where there's a company that's going to be drilling for copper and nickel, and then an environmentalist who doesn't want them to drill, and that environmentalist turns up dead. But he is not the only body that turns up dead in this Wisconsin North Woods, and there is definitely something deep, dark, and sinister going on here. When more bodies turn up, the town turns into a frenzy, and the sheriff has to quickly find the answers, discover who has been murdering all these people I'm assuming before they lose all their tourist dollars and before everybody moves out of this no longer peaceful fly fishing town in Wisconsin. Do any of these sound interesting to you? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear if any of these enticed you into either checking them out from your library or buying them for yourself. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these indie author, small press, under the radar release videos. So if you like them, make sure you let me know. If there's any small presses you want me to check out, also let me know. I'm on the hunt for some good mystery thriller small presses and indie authors for that matter. Thanks for watching. Stay cozy. I'll see you next time.